Okay, so you want to own a gym. And on paper, this looks like the easiest business in the world. People pay you every month, whether they show up or not. The money arrives automatically on the first. Your product does not spoil, does not need restocking, and does not walk out the door. 77 million Americans held a gym membership in 2024, roughly 1 in 4 people over the age of 6. You just need a room, some equipment, and a slice of that. Now, 2 things before we start, and I want you holding both of them the whole way through. The first is that there is a single number that decides whether your gym lives or dies, and it is not how many members you sign up. Most people who open a gym never learn what that number is until it has already beaten them. The second is stranger. The largest gym chain in America physically does not have room for its own members, not close. If everybody who paid them last month showed up to actually work out, the buildings would not hold them, and the company knows this, and it is not a flaw in the model. It is the model. We are going to get to both. But we start with the room, because the room is where the trap is built. Here is the first thing that surprises people. A gym is not a fitness business. It is a fixed-cost subscription business that happens to have dumbbells in it. Every important decision you make flows out of that sentence, so let's watch it happen. You find a space. Industry planning guides put commercial gym-suitable space at roughly $18 to $40 per square foot per year, depending on the market. So a modest 4,000 square foot facility puts you somewhere between $72,000 and $160,000 in annual rent before you have hung a single mirror. Then you have to make the shell into a gym. Build out estimates in current guides run from about $30 per square foot for a space that was already a fitness site to well over $100. And up to $200 for a raw shell that needs plumbing for showers, electrical capacity for the equipment load, and HVAC that can actually move air through a room full of people producing heat. That HVAC line is the one that catches everybody. A gym is essentially a room where 100 humans generate body heat and humidity for 14 hours a day. The heating and cooling system is not an amenity. It is structural, it is expensive, and if you get it wrong, the room smells and the members leave. Then equipment, then flooring, rated to survive, dropped weight. Then mirrors, lockers, signage, software, insurance, and a certificate of occupancy that takes longer to get than anyone plans for. Published startup ranges for a U.S. membership gym land, roughly between $100,000 and $500,000, with high-end full-service facilities going well past that. Lease and equipment together commonly account for 60 to 70% of it. And here is the part almost nobody budgets correctly. On top of all of that, you need cash to survive the months when you are paying full costs and collecting partial revenue. Guides typically recommend 3 to 6 months of operating expenses in reserve. If your monthly burn is $15,000, that is $45,000 to $90,000 that does nothing but sit there and let you keep breathing. One industry analysis of independent gym failures put the 2 dominant causes as location mistakes and undercapitalization, not bad training, not bad equipment, running out of money before the membership base caught up. Because here is the mechanic underneath all of it, and it never changes. Rent does not care how many people came in today. Payroll does not care. The HVAC bill in August does not care. Insurance does not care. Your loan payment does not care. Every meaningful cost in a gym is fixed, and every dollar of revenue is variable. So the entire business becomes one question. How many members do you need before the fixed costs stop eating you? Run it. Say your all-in monthly operating cost is $15,000. Rent, payroll, utilities, insurance, software, cleaning. If your average member pays $50 a month, you need 300 paying members to reach exactly zero, not to profit, to reach zero. Push the numbers around and it gets uncomfortable fast. $25,000 a month in costs at that same $50 average means 500 members before you make a single dollar, and published break-even timelines for new gyms commonly run 12 to 30 months. So picture where you actually are on opening day. You have spent somewhere north of $200,000. You have a beautiful room, and you have, what, 90 members from your pre-sale? You are 210 members away from zero, and the clock started the day you signed the lease. Now, you could stop the video here, and you would already understand more about this business than most people who sign a gym lease do. Everything up to this point is just arithmetic, and arithmetic is the easy part. The part that actually kills gyms is not on the cost side at all. It is on the revenue side, and it is completely invisible for about the first year. Because you have been thinking about members as a number you build up to. They are not. They are a number that leaks. The Health and Fitness Association's most recent benchmarking report, drawn from 175 companies and more than 17,000 facilities, puts average annual member retention at 66.4%. Read that from the other direction. Roughly 1 in 3 of your members will be gone within 12 months. And that is the average across the year. The front end is worse. Industry research consistently finds that close to half of new members quit within the first 6 months. Some analyses put common monthly churn at 7 to 10%, with well-run operations targeting 3 to 5. Compounding matters here, and it trips people up. 3% monthly attrition is not 36% a year. It compounds down to roughly 30%. But at 7% a month, you are losing more than half your book in a year. So now redraw the picture. You are not filling a bucket. You are filling a bucket with a hole in the bottom, and the hole is proportional to how much water is already in it. Which means every month you have to sign new members just to stay exactly where you were. And here is the ugly part of that. Acquiring a new member costs money. Advertising, promotions, waived joining fees, staff time. Retention research widely cites acquisition as running several times the cost of keeping someone you already have. So a gym that is not growing is not standing still. It is paying every single month for the privilege of standing still. And now I can tell you the number. The number that decides whether your gym lives is not how many members you sign. It is how long each one stays. 2 gyms can sign the exact same number of members in a year and end up in completely different universes. If your average member stays 14 months, each one is worth roughly $700 to you at $50 a month. If your average member stays 5 months, each one is worth $250. Same sign-ups, same room, same equipment, same marketing spend to get them in the door. Not close to the same business. Everything that looks like customer service in a gym is actually financial engineering. The staff member who learns your name, the onboarding session, the group class schedule. Research consistently associates structured onboarding and class participation with meaningfully higher retention. Those are not niceties. They are the difference between a member worth $700 and a member worth $250. If you know somebody who is about to sign a lease on a fitness space, this is the part to send them. Almost everybody opening a gym is planning their marketing budget. Almost nobody is planning their retention system, and the retention system is the business. Now, the second thing I promised you, the buildings that cannot hold their own members. At the end of 2025, Planet Fitness reported approximately 20.8 million members across 2,896 clubs, divided out. That is roughly 7,200 members per location. A typical location cannot hold anything close to that. Reporting on the model has long noted these gyms accommodate a few hundred people at a time, not 7,000. And this is not a Planet Fitness quirk. Run the same math on a premium operator. One analysis looked at Lifetime, which had around 1.5 million members across roughly 200 locations, where a typical club is about 100,000 square feet and open around 122 hours a week. Even if every single member worked out 4 hours a week, the average occupancy would still land somewhere around 19%. The entire industry is sold on the assumption that you will not come. And the data says the assumption holds. Analyst commentary on Planet Fitness has put the share of members who do not visit at all in a given 30-day stretch at around 60%. Company reporting in early 2025 put average visits at 6.7 per member per month and described that as the highest quarterly utilization in 5 years. Sit with that. Their best engagement number in half a decade still means the average member walks in fewer than 7 times in a month. Now here is where I have to be careful, because the easy version of this story is that gyms are scams built on your guilt. That is not what the evidence says, and it is not what I am telling you. Nobody is preventing anyone from attending. The member who does not show up made that decision on a Tuesday evening on their own couch. What the industry did was notice the pattern and build a price around it. Because think about what a low price actually does. At $10 or $15 a month, a membership is cheap enough that not going does not trigger the cancellation decision. It sits below the threshold where you bother. It is not expensive enough to be a problem, and that is precisely why it stays on the card. Analysts have described that price point in almost exactly those terms, which produces the sentence that explains the entire industry, and it is worth saying plainly. In a fixed-capacity subscription business, the member who never comes is not a failure of the product. Financially, that member is the best customer you have. They pay full price and consume nothing. No equipment wear, no towel, no staff attention, no space. That is not a conspiracy. It is what happens automatically when you sell unlimited access to a facility with limited room, and it would happen even if every operator in the country had perfect intentions. Now watch how the pricing gets built on top of it, because it is genuinely clever. Planet Fitness held its entry price at $10 for roughly 25 years before raising it for new members to $15 in mid-2024. But the entry price was never really the product. The premium tier, at around $25 a month, adds multi-location access, guest privileges, and spa amenities. Company reporting has put premium tier penetration at around 66.5% of members, and analyst commentary has put the average member payment at roughly $17.60 a month. There is also an annual fee on top. So the advertised number is 10. The real number is closer to 18, and 2/3 of members voluntarily climb the ladder. Which brings us to the thing you have to understand if you are the one opening the gym. You cannot run that model. That model requires 7,000 members per location. It requires national advertising, franchise scale, and equipment purchasing power. Your independent gym is going to have 300 members, maybe 500 if you are doing well. At $15 a month, 500 members is $7,500, and your operating costs are $15,000. You would lose money on every member and make it up on nothing. So the independent gym has to go the other direction entirely. Higher price, fewer members, and members who actually show up. Because the only thing you can sell that the low-cost chains structurally cannot is attention, coaching, community. A staff member who notices when you have not been in for 2 weeks. And that is the irony that sits at the center of this whole business. The giant chains are profitable because their members do not come. The independent gym is only profitable if its members do. So let's put a year on it, both ways. In the good scenario, you open with a strong pre-sale. You cross break-even inside 12 months. You hold monthly churn near 4% instead of 8%, and your average member stays close to 2 years. You add personal training, which sells at a real margin against staff you are already paying to be in the building. Your average revenue per member drifts upward because the people who stay are the people who buy more. A well-run independent gym at that stage is a real business, producing a real owner income. In the realistic scenario, nothing dramatic happens. You open in March. January was your best month, and it will not come again for 11 months. Roughly 1 in 8 annual sign-ups happen in January, so you spend most of the year fighting for the leftovers. Your churn runs at 7% a month instead of 4%, so you are signing 30 new members monthly and losing 28. Your head count looks almost flat, which feels stable, and it is actually the most expensive kind of flat there is, because you are paying acquisition costs every month to stay in the same place. Meanwhile, the rent is identical in month 18 to what it was in month 1. The HVAC still runs, the loan still amortizes, and a budget chain opens 6 minutes away, offering $15 a month for a room you cannot compete with on equipment count. Nothing burned down. Nobody sued you. Your Saturday morning class is genuinely full, and people genuinely love it. You just never got the hole in the bucket, smaller than the tap, That is the whole business in one line. You were never selling fitness. You were selling a subscription to a room with fixed costs, and the only thing that ever mattered was how long each person kept paying for it. Which means the strangest sentence in this entire industry is also the truest one. Your revenue depends on people joining. Your survival depends on people staying. And in most of the country, the largest and most profitable version of this business figured out that the cheapest way to keep somebody paying is to charge them so little that leaving is not worth the phone call. This video is general education about how an industry works, not business, financial, or investment advice. If you want the real numbers, rather than the marketing ones, the Health and Fitness Association publishes industry benchmarking research, and publicly traded operators like Planet Fitness publish membership, visit frequency and pricing data in their quarterly and annual filings, all free to read.